Hi, welcome to In the Kitchen with Paul and Judy.
I'm Paul.
I love these shows.
I do because it means we get to eat, and I'm very hungry.
He is very hungry, so he's like, we need to get this done. What we're going to do today is called a burst tomato, prosciutto, and goat cheese quiche.
Wow, it's a good thing it's 2020.
Why?
Because it was 1982. There was a book that said real men don't eat quiche. And I would have only been 22 then, so I've evolved. I can eat quiche.
Are you done now? This is going to be fun, I can tell.
It's one of those days.
So we're going to, in true fashion,
Yes.
Going to talk a little bit about what you're going to need for this recipe, but also that it is another one submitted by LaDawn Olden, who has her blog called Loving Life and Living Yeast Free. And I'll put that blog so that you can search her at the bottom of the screen. But she also adapted this from another blog called, and you'll love this because you love James Taylor, How Sweet Eats.
How Sweet Eats.
How Sweet Eats. And that is Jessica Merchant. So you can look her up too.
Okay.
With that said, with our burst tomato quiche, this is what you're going to need. All right, you need, first of all, a pint of grape tomatoes. So that's easy because you can buy it as a pint and it doesn't need to be then measured again. You're going to need 6 large eggs, and you bought those.
I did.
Did they say large on the?
They said large,
Okay.
even though I like them a little larger.
I know, I was going to say they look kind of small to me.
It's evolved. It's changed.
All right. You also need olive oil, and you know our little our olive oil
Dispensary.
Yes, dispensary. We love that thing. Just makes it so easy. You're supposed to have a half a tablespoon of olive oil, but we're just probably going to throw it on the skillet. You do need 1.5 cups of heavy cream, or LaDawn says you can also use a dairy-free soy creamer if you want to, because remember, her blog is Loving Life and Living Yeast Free, so she's very conscientious of the yeast portion of it, and also she follows something called a Candida diet.
Do you want to tell them your other indulgence about heavy whipping cream?
In my coffee in the morning. I know, I'm so bad. But it's so good. Don't try it because you will get addicted. You're going to need, in addition, 3/4 cup of grated Gruyere cheese, and that's going to be so yummy.
Fantastic.
I mean, that's a real indulgence, but that should be really good. You need some basil. I went out into our little garden and I eyeballed what I think is going to be about 3 tablespoons of chopped basil. And then also in the herb department, you need 2 tablespoons of chopped flat leaf parsley. And I didn't know what flat leaf was. And it doesn't say flat leaf on the packaging, but
They look pretty flat
they
to
look
me.
pretty flatly leafed to me. So that we're going to do that. You also need after that black pepper, and that's roughly 1/2 teaspoon. You need salt, roughly 1/8 teaspoon. We happen to be using light salt today because that's what we found in our pantry. You need 2 ounces of thinly sliced prosciutto. Prosciutto. The Italians say
Yeah, the O is
prosciutto.
silent. I've never heard something where the O is silent.
I know. There you go. Well, you have found one that's 3 ounces, but we're just going to use 2 ounces for our quiche. And then finally, well, not finally, you need one more thing after that, probably the most important ingredient, but you do need goat cheese crumbled, and it's 4 ounces, and you also happen to find exactly 4 ounces in a container, so that doesn't have to be measured again. And then this is the other thing that's so important, and it is the pie shells. LaDawn does the gluten-free, which thankfully I do too, so I was glad you were able to find that.
Yep.
Did you find that in the frozen section?
I did indeed.
Okay, so it came in a set of 2, and they're 9-inch. We're just going to use one for this recipe. Okay, and that does not need to be pre-baked or pre-cooked. You make everything, put it in there, and then the whole thing goes in the
And
oven.
what am I doing the oven to?
That's going to be done to 350.
I'm on it.
Okay. And then we're going to prepare everything. We'll take everything out of the packaging, wash the herbs and the tomato, all of the other things that need to be washed. We'll do some chopping of the cheese, and then we'll get ready to make it. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, part 2 coming up. So what are you going to be doing?
Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of my olive oil. I don't measure my olive oil ever.
Yeah,
I just put it in there.
yeah, it works that way.
Then I'm going to have the tomatoes poured in, and we're supposed to gently, just sort of fold them over until they burst.
Right. It's kind of a cool instruction. So you're supposed to put on medium heat in a skillet all of the full pint of your grape tomatoes.
Right.
and you let them cook
So they start.
on that medium heat, and then they start to burst. So yeah, they definitely have to be.
And multitasking
Okay.
as I was, we have our egg yolks.
So
We're at all
while you're doing all that,
the cheese.
and I'm waiting for the cheese because I'm going to be whisking together the 6 eggs, the herbs, the basil and the parsley, the cream, the 1.5 cups of cream, and then we're going to walk you through how we then fill the pie shell, because there's an order in which that's done as well. So while you're doing a little bit more of the grating, and you
I'm a great grater.
you can obviously knife cut your herbs if you'd like to, but I have found that it's so nice and easy to just use scissors on the basil, so I think I'm going to do it with the parsley too. And the parsley is supposed to be about 2 tablespoons. I was thinking, how in the world do you measure your parsley in tablespoon form? So I think I'm going to eyeball that kind of the way that we do the olive oil. But it sure smells good. And when I cut that basil, I thought, oh my goodness gracious, so aromatic.
How are you feeling about this?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Okay.
Looks good. This is going to be fun. And this is another one of those recipes that we didn't see. That to me looks like about 1 tablespoon. So I think I eyeballed it pretty well. Another one of those recipes that we didn't practice first. We sort of loved it. I think there's only been one time that we made a recipe that we said, this didn't come out too well. I think we're not doing justice to the recipe
That was my fault.
or to the submitter of the recipe. So we better do that again. And then we had to do it a 3rd time because of user error, technical difficulties. And it's funny, sometimes I'm able to salvage a video even if some things go wrong, like one person's microphone isn't turned up as loud as the others, or one of us forgot to turn off our microphone or turn on our microphone. But then I can kind of pick up the audio from some of the others. We're definitely not, when we chose our aprons, I said to Paul, should we have chosen white aprons? He said, absolutely not. First of all, those are for chefs who know what they're doing. I said, yeah, we're kind of hacks in the kitchen, but we certainly have a good time.
We do. And it turns out, you know what, the more that you do it, and that's, if there's one advantage of this crazy pandemic, is we got to play with cooking a little bit more. I perfected the medium rare filet mignon.
I'll put the link for that in the upper right-hand corner. That's a great recipe. And friends of ours decided to try it after we had done it and shown it to them and actually made it for them. And and the wife of the couple said, I didn't want to say anything at the time, but I could tell it was going to be way overdone because the timing that he used was not what Paul suggested.
And it's there. It's on
On the video?
on the YouTube.
Yeah, I doubt that they went back and watched. I'm sure they thought they were doing it by memory. Okay, so enough gossip about our friends.
You know they're going to be watching.
I know. So cute.
She said it, not me.
All right, so whisking together the eggs, the Gruyere cheese, the parsley, the basil, salt and pepper, and cream. Are they starting to burst yet?
No, I realized I put it on the wrong.
See, that's the thing. That's the sort of thing I'm talking about. So it might be a little bit longer of chatting before they start bursting.
Yes, but we're so interesting.
All right. In goes the cream. And that was 1.5 cups of either heavy cream, or as I mentioned earlier in the video, you could also use...
Now that we're getting enough of these videos, maybe we need to rank them.
I think they get ranked by the number of views already. We don't
No,
have
but
to
we
do
never
anything.
tell them that stuff.
What are you talking about?
You know,
Like rank them.
Like our top 10?
We put on YouTube?
Yeah. Something.
Like change the titles and put number 1, number 10 at the end of the title?
Now I feel the bursting might be in.
Oh, I can hear it too.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm doing eggs, cream, yes. Gruyere cheese, yes. This is whisking together nicely. So remember, this one has 2 different types of cheeses. It has the Gruyere cheese and then the goat cheese. And you can buy that already crumbled. This was our original crumbled goat cheese. So that's easy to find too.
Where's Jim Brewer when you need him?
Goat boy himself. So this also said to add in all the herbs. So pretty, isn't it? When you cook in a colorful fashion, it's always so much more enticing.
Oh, this is
Looking
pretty.
good?
It's pretty.
Are you being gentle? It says very gently. It's like caress the tomatoes. All right, as for pepper, I'm just going to do the pepper grinder because I found that I didn't have any ground pepper. We use the grinders all the time. And that called for, let me double check, a half a teaspoon of black pepper. And of course, as you know, you always salt and pepper to taste anyway. So I'm thinking that's about right. And since I did find the grained salt, the table salt, I will measure that out. And that's a quarter. It calls for an eighth, so that'll be just about a half of that. Go in.
You know what?
What? Did we forget something?
I'm going lid, so you don't get splattered.
Oh, okay. Ooh, that's good.
No, I should.
It'll be kind of fun to watch them burst apart. All right, so let me tell you while we're getting the prosciutto cut and we're waiting for the tomatoes to burst, and we have our whisked eggs and cream mixture, what you're going to do with the pie crust. So as I said, this does not need to be baked first. Everything will go in it, and then you'll bake it, and you're actually going to bake it for between 55 and 60 minutes until it browns on the top and sort of, you know, as quiches do, tend to firm and gel in the middle. So my question really was, and I didn't have a chance to talk to the submitter, LaDon, of this recipe, kind of, or even actually Jessica, who's the one who does the How Sweet Eats blog, why you had to do half and then the egg mixture and then the other half, because it seemed to me, wow, listen to that.
Sorry.
Anything bursted yet?
Nope.
No?
I'm bursting with pride. How you doing?
It's going to be yummy.
Now,
Paul's so hungry. We're going to be having this for dinner at like 3 in the afternoon. He's got the table all set and everything. Yep.
They seem ready to burst any moment.
I would think so too. Oh, anyway, so there must be a method to the madness of the layering, even though it seemed to me that the eggs would kind of sink all the way through anyway if you just did everything at the same time. But the cheese, the Gruyere cheese, does thicken it up a bit, so I'm sure there's a reason for the layering.
Okay. Well, do you need
But
more
we
cheese,
shall
or
find
are
out.
you good?
No, it's great. I'm just waiting for the
Bursting?
bursting to happen.
Maybe I shouldn't be that gentle with them. Burst.
Yeah.
Burst, little tomatoes. I'll turn it up a little more. That'll make them burst.
So then, because after we do the layering, then we have to let it cook for an hour, as I said, 60 minutes. So then we'll have part 3
Yes,
when
so
we
then
come
talk
back.
amongst yourselves.
Yes. And the remaining Gruyere cheese was sitting over there. I was very tempted to cut myself a piece. I'm so bad, kind of a little snacker.
She is. Your whole
Don't
family is.
ruin your appetite.
But we know
All
that,
right,
so
let me move this out of the way so everybody
down
can
a
kind of
little
see.
bit. Yeah, this one.
Definitely keep the pie shells frozen until you're ready to make the recipe, because they do thaw fast. Well, here we are.
Cheers again.
Part of the joys of, oh yeah, I know what happened. Part of the joys of not having practiced ahead of time is the, as they say, organic nature of doing these videos, where what you see is what you get. They look good. Smells good.
Yes.
I forgot. I was supposed to, if you will indulge me, there was a part of the recipe that said add a pinch of salt to the tomatoes.
Pinch.
There you go.
Oh,
You got popped by
I
the
got
salt?
bursted. I got bursted.
Oh, that wasn't me though, was it?
No.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry.
Maybe the salt is the thing that makes them go burst.
Who knew? So just be careful. I can see that some of them have burst already.
Yes. Well, they're really
Well, yeah. You live to tell about it.
Almost done.
Okay. All right, so at this point, what we're going to do, remember, is add half of the tomatoes. Oh, no, we have to let them cool.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. So there might be 4 parts to this movie. 4 episodes to this series.
Well, no, you can still do your half thing.
No,
Now
because
we
it
can-
has to cool.
No,
It has to cool.
Oh, half the tomatoes first.
And then we do the tomatoes and the half and the half. So yeah, and I want them to see the layering process. So why don't we do
I'm
that?
going to help them along in their bursting.
Well, we're going to have to let it cool anyway.
Yeah, 'cause-
So, no,
yes, I have to.
no, you have to be
It
gentle.
wasn't happening. See?
Paul, stop it.
All right. You wanted me to cool before they were bursting, so I'm helping them along with their bursting.
No, yeah, I know, they do need to cool. Domestic bliss.
Yes.
All right, are you feeling like you're going to have them cool now? Oh, okay. All right. Part 3 coming up shortly. We kissed and made up. No, it's all good. Okay, so
Yes.
we let those tomatoes burst and cool.
Look at them.
They look great. And so what we're going to do, you've already, I see, split it in half.
Yep.
So what we're going to do is put the half that you determined will go in.
Now.
Now,
Okay.
yep.
All right, don't you come over here, little guys. You know what? You're the second half. All right.
Okay, good.
Separate them for you.
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
All right, and now we're going to do half the prosciutto that you did as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, yummy. Okay, and the other part of the half is going to be half of the goat cheese. So we'll just kind of eyeball that. I hope you can see what I'm doing, because this is going to be amazing. Would you say that's
we've gotten
about?
to meet, we've
Yeah,
gotten
that's
to
about
meet
half.
Jim Brewer because his one of his friends was one of our jewelry manufacturers.
Yes,
So-
and he's a great guy.
That's why we give yeah, he's a really
We
great.
need to catch up with Todd and find out how Jim's doing. Okay, so what you saw us do, half of the tomatoes, half of the prosciutto, half of the goat cheese. But now the whole mixture of the eggs and cream combination
Will it fit?
goes in. I know, it doesn't look like it will, does it? Let me move this over so you guys can see. We will all find out together. Because it does look kind of small. So this is supposed to go in and cover everything. And then you still have the other half to put in. Oh my. Maybe we have to make an executive decision.
Maybe those eggs were larger than we thought.
Maybe we were supposed to use both the pie
We
crust.
can't. We still can.
Okay.
Still can.
How's that going to work out? You were? All right, let me look back at this recipe. I'm rereading. Because I'm sure you all do when you're reading recipe. Okay. Wholly gluten-free 9-inch pie shell for the crust. Crusts are found in the freezer section of your grocery store in a package of 2. Add your ingredients and bake at the temperature listed in the recipe directions.
Well, we're making 2 anyway.
Yeah, let's do that. And instead of the way that they did it, of half the ingredients and then the other half, let's do This is going to be our version, and I think you're going to love us for it. Okay, this is great though, because we used half of everything. This is ready to go. So let's do the same thing. Let's do the other half.
I could do the half of the half.
No, do the, oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, try
half
this
of the
one.
half and try it.
On this one.
All right, let's try.
Whoa, whoa.
So you're doing half of the prosciutto now?
Yeah.
All right. Love this. Love the spontaneity.
The thing about being a chef, as much of a hack of a chef as I am,
We are.
I didn't want to lump you into that, but thanks. Thanks for coming on the ride. No,
I'm a team with you, baby.
I truly learned this when we were at QVC, and I actually had to take a cooking class with a prominent Philadelphia chef. And it was at a place that wasn't where he was accustomed to everything. He didn't have his mise en place that he's used to. And anyway, improvising is the
art
key. Yeah.
is the art.
It really is.
Okay, so now the rest of that half, goes on the second one.
I have some prosciutto to give you too. No.
Perfect. And I'm just supposed to gently fold it in, gently mix it around.
So it's a his and hers quiche.
This is fun. Oh my gosh.
did want to
I mean, I
ask
was
you-
looking to read between the lines and see if I missed something that we were supposed to use both, but I don't know.
Yeah,
It
it's
looks
gonna work
like
out
we
fine.
got double our pleasure.
We're going to be good to go. So the good news is it will be dinner today, breakfast tomorrow,
Yeah.
and then lunch tomorrow before we go to a hotel. Because we are going on an anniversary trip.
Yes. Even if you're watching this in January, when we shot it, it was our anniversary. Okay, Paul, this
Yes.
is going to be very interesting
Okay?
because I do agree with you. The other half of that would not have fit, but I need to mix this around too, since
Sure,
we didn't
do
do
your
the
thing.
half and half.
I can start.
And then these are ready to just go right in. Is the oven up to temp, right?
It is.
350. Okay.
That means you're ready for me to...
LaDawn, when she watches this, is going to be laughing at us. I know she will.
Every-
She'll get a kick out of it, and I know we'll hear from her in the comments. By the way, speaking of that, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate that, and the thumbs up, and make some comments about what you liked or disliked or how you would have done it differently. Everybody has an idea.
Okay. All right. Are you ready for me to put this in?
Yes. Ho, ho, ho.
Yes.
Are you okay?
Yes.
All right, I'm following you. This should be fun. And then part 4 of our series is us cutting the quiche.
I think it's really fun. I'm just waiting to hear the ding.
Okay.
But this is why I think it's really fun when we don't practice it ahead of time.
Yeah,
Because it's
that's
just
true.
really- it's such a surprise. And it's really, when you see this,
Spontaneity.
you're going to go crazy.
Yes, I think so. So we will let you know how it
Guess what I
takes.
didn't do, though?
What's that?
Turn the light on here.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. That,
Yeah, so maybe we look a little bit different.
Makes a difference. Oh, there it is.
And there's the sound. There's the sound of goodness right there.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
they're right behind you, honey.
goodness.
Yeah.
Speaking of goodness.
Speaking of goodness, this is going to be a good dinner. Thank you for bearing with us and kind of going through the recipe as we learn, you're learning. But definitely this filled 2 pie shells, and I'll add that in the notes at the bottom of the video. You just click the drop-down
honestly.
menu. Oh, wow, look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
Okay, that
All right,
gets-
there's one.
That gets one spot. And his twin
Wow.
is coming up.
And you see around the edge how it even kind of pulled up. That's how much the egg mixture and the cream really raised that whole
You can
recipe.
see the tomatoes peeking out.
Yes, you can, and all the
Wow.
herbs too. Look at that. I don't want to try to touch it, but let me see if I can show you how pretty that is. So there is the burst tomato quiche, and we'll be digging in about 10 minutes. Jinx.
Yes.
It better be cool enough by then.
I don't care.
Even if we burn the roofs of
ready.
our mouths. Yeah,
I'm ready.
we're hungry. Thanks for joining us
Cheers
for In the
again,
Kitchen
everybody.
with Paul and Judy. We love you guys, and we
Yeah.
appreciate all your support. We'll be back for another one soon. In the meantime, bon appetit. Oh my gosh, those look so good. And they smell incredible.